Flash flood situation that really popped up almost out of the blue behind a cold front moving through our Triad area. This is actually not part of Tropical Storm Debbie, but the reason we're coming to you here, this is a flash flood emergency for Guilford County. Parts of Greensboro have seen many roads start to flood. This all started around 9 to 10 o'clock this evening. We had a couple storms roll into the area and then sit. And as they've been parked there, the water has been too much to handle. It should come as no surprise. Our ground right now is basically like a totally wet sponge that cannot absorb any more of that rainfall moisture. That flash flood emergency does continue until 1:45 in the morning for Guilford County, and you can see what they're saying here. This is a catastrophic threat, and it's already been observed. We've heard of many water rescues actually across the Greensboro area. This is the region of that flooding that has been seen most often. So I'm going to show you a couple of reports, and then we'll dive into the radar and kind of get you squared away with what we're seeing across the whole Triad area. Many of these icons on the map all are showing us where some flooding has been happening, and it's not just a little bit of a stream or a pond that's popping up. All of these are meant to represent something a bit more serious, maybe water rescues or things like water on the roads, impassable roads. Those are the type of things that we've been hearing about starting around that 9, 10, and 11 o'clock hour across Greensboro. So let's pop some of that information up here as we storm track this for you. This one down near Wendover Avenue in the city of Jamestown, a vehicle was trapped at flood waters near the intersection of Guilford College and Wendover Avenue. If you're familiar with that area, Guilford College Road comes right in with Wendover, right where I-73 and I-40 are. That's kind of a big intersection of town. It's pretty low lying. So that's a flash flood in that part of Greensboro. There's been another one up here. This is in the New Garden neighborhood here. Greensboro, of course, this was reported around 10:40 in the evening. A vehicle trapped in flood waters. That was near New Garden and Richfield Road. If you're familiar with this part of town, it's right by the highway, right by where New Garden kind of hooks up near the Home Depot. Trader Joe's is in that neighborhood as well. Elsewhere, we go into the western side of the city. This vehicle trapped near Fleming Road and Old Oak Ridge Road, right near the urban loop also. And this was near Grand Summit Apartments, another vehicle trapped. I am sure we do not have a fraction of the reports of what we are seeing, but there is a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel now. What I'm finding as of midnight, this is 12:07 a.m. Notice how that radar was so persistent with all the reds, oranges on the map, and the lightning too. Notice how it's kind of started to evaporate and move south and migrate. That's the good news. We can handle a thunderstorm. We just need it to move around, and right now it's starting at least to move around from this part of the county down to this part of the county. Now, having said that, if it sits here, you could have those issues on the south side of Greensboro. Same story could be said down by Randolph County and elsewhere. Let's do a couple of radar estimates. This is estimated rainfall. We're not going from rain gauges here, but based on the radar, how much rain has fallen in just the last couple of hours. Well, if we look over here, this is by Bryan Boulevard and the urban loop, about 3 inches or so. Right there by New Garden, about 3.5 inches. Some of these spots, though, pretty serious. 3, 4, 5 inches of rain. Remember, that's more rain than what we saw with Tropical Storm Debbie yesterday. That happened over a whole day. This has happened in just a couple of hours. So what a scary situation on a Friday night. And we're hearing a lot of these reports from our partners with the National Weather Service and also with Guilford County Emergency Management that they're hearing a lot of these rescue reports. One of them, for example, a water rescue at Guilford College Road and Wendover. We told you about that neighborhood being a problem. Woodstream Lane had a water rescue. That was around 11:15 or so. And this is just kind of an evolving situation. But as I said, the radar has started to evolve a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more about where this rainfall is happening. There was a lot more of this in Davidson County too. All part of this stalled out cold front, just like we saw with the Greensboro area. More of that heavy rain happening downtown. But this is what we like to see, starting to let up a little bit on the northwest side of the city. We have another flash flood warning for northeast Guilford County and northern Alamance County. Some of that heavy rain. Also, it looks to be very stationary. So when those storms don't move, this is when you get into trouble. Watch here near Altamaha, Ossipee, places like we were just talking about with the Haw River flooding, Reedy Creek flooding as well. All of those areas will have those issues exasperated if we get more rainfall, and we've been seeing that. So where did we come from and how did we get here? Last couple hours show the loop. This loop starts at around 11 o'clock and it goes through 12. This is that cold front moving into our area. It's trying to bring us a little bit of that cooler air and less tropical air as we go into the weekend. The problem is it's not really moving. So this front is going to turn into a bit of a stationary front. You see it on the backside and how it's all kind of in a line. What I think will happen as we go into 1, 2, and 3 in the morning, it's going to slowly migrate more and more to the south and east. We're already seeing that here in this area of Randolph County, how it's kind of seeping into your spot. So Guilford, the threat hopefully starts to go down, but that threat could arise in the other areas. My main message for you as we go through the rest of the night is just stay home. If you're already in a safe spot, you're already at home, you don't need to be out there, just hang tight. Have a nice Friday evening. Go to bed. Those things are good to do. I can't show you much of a model because this was not well predicted by the models or by us meteorologists either for that matter. We're adjusting on the fly. It does look likely that some rain will continue to be possible through the early morning hours. We're talking about the overnight here. Through that morning time, you could still have some issues. Another computer model idea has this fizzling out by about 3 and 4 in the morning across the area. And then we'll see some sunshine. Tomorrow is really, Saturday is going to really be a sunny and hot day of weather with temperatures into the upper 80s and close to 90 degrees. But bottom line, boy, has it been a wet night of weather, and really all of this happened ever so quickly. Latest reports coming in from the National Weather Service, it looks like hopefully things are starting to slow down a little bit. This is as of 12:11, but we also have been looking at our traffic maps every now and again. I'm going to show that too, because this was fascinating to see. It's not the time of night that you would expect any traffic on the roadways, right? What we're actually finding though is that a lot of these roads are showing yellows and oranges, which would indicate some flooding happening on the city streets. That is unusual, right? So that much water on the roads is slowing folks down. So bottom line, please be careful if you have to travel about the area. As of around 12:15, a lot of these roadways, take a look. You see right here, flooded roads, possibly on that 29 area where it comes into 40. That's usually a trouble spot. The water really gathers there in these thunderstorms, and that's the side of the city where the radar is picking up and showing more of that heavy rainfall. Urban Loop showing some of that as well. We have that heavy rain on the side of McLeansville and Gibsonville too. Farther off to the south, not seeing quite as many issues, but there are some slowdowns on I-85. In fact, one of them looks to be a little heavier. So if we go in toward Thomasville and our High Point and Archdale, that's really some heavy rain possibly slowing folks down on those highways. Just to recap, we're going to reset here and get you squared away before we let you go. We are seeing a flash flood warning, which turned into a flash flood emergency in Greensboro. This is something that's pretty rare. We get flash flood warnings, not that uncommon, right? That happens quite often. But this is unusual. Flash flood emergency means that catastrophic flooding is happening and it's been observed and people's lives are actually in danger. That's what water rescues mean, right? We've had folks that get rescued across the Greensboro area. That runs until about 1:45 in the morning. What I'm seeing here would indicate that that threat will go down and that warning should expire around that time. Now, anyone else that sees this slow-moving line of thunderstorms pushing their way, you too will have that flood threat as we go throughout the night. In fact, these warnings are being extended a little bit across the area for northeast Guilford County and also northern Alamance County. That's the type of flooding that could happen for you, just like what we were seeing in the Greensboro area. This is not a flash flood emergency yet, but it is a flash flood warning, in this case, going until about 2:30. So my message for you, please stay off the roadways. You want to make sure that you're keeping yourself safe. If you have to be out, well, just make sure you don't drive through those flooded roadways. But it can be really difficult to do that when you're in a situation where you don't have too many options. So at this time of night, stay safe. Your life is always more important. It is part of a cold front that's moving through our area. It is not moving very quickly, which is why we saw some of those slow-moving storms in the first place. Cooler air trying to push in for the rest of the weekend. So I do think that once you get through Saturday and Sunday, most of your weather should be in really good shape. It's actually a fine weekend of weather across our area. And heading into next week, not expecting a whole lot of rain. Temperatures will be in the mid 80s, upper 80s at first, and then low 80s to finish things off heading into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But bottom line, flash flooding is no joke. We've seen a lot of it tonight. It's likely to continue a little while longer before it gets better. Hopefully this update has kept you informed and you can share it with anybody that might need to see it in the Greensboro area and the rest of the Triad.